Hi, and welcome to another inspirational and self-changing session conducted by Catalyst 2030 for Catalyst Change Week year 2022. I will begin by introducing myself. My name is Samar Mohammed Alzir. I am first and foremost a mother of three beautiful children. I am a teacher, researcher, and a young learning social entrepreneur. My journey in academia began following graduation from the University of Jordan with a degree of special education in year 2007. I carried on completing my Master's of Sciences at the University of Edinburgh in children and young people's mental health and psychological practices. I am currently a PhD candidate at the School of Health and Social Sciences in the program of clinical psychology. Uh, it has been a very intensive journey, however, very rewarding. I am an affiliated member of the Canadian Psychological Association, as well as the Association of Psychologists of Nova Scotia. I am a graduate member of the British Psychological Society and an affiliated member of the American Psychological Association and a newly recruited friend at the Canadian Society of Children's Authors, Illustrators, and Performers. Throughout our 30-minute session, we will be discussing or addressing NSPCC parent and self-care programs. We will begin by introducing who we are and what we do. We will discuss the SDGs NSPCC follows and aims for. Our parent program being the key approach to change. NSPCC resources through networking, connecting to achieve growth. How did NSPCC build bridges to a better tomorrow so far? And last but not least, we will conclude with openings in becoming an NSPCC changemaker. NSPCC stands for Nova Scotia Parent Cross-Cultural Organization. Seems like a long title, eh? We are a young, however, an ambitious nonprofit society certified by the Government of Nova Scotia in Canada on March the 26th, 2021. The conceptual values of our organization was originally inspired by Professor Rana Dajani, who is the founder of We Love Reading. The adopted philosophy of the butterfly effect to changing mindsets through reading, working closely with Arab refugees in Jordan, was absolutely inspiring. At that time, before the foundation of NSPCC, I was a young qualitative researcher reaching out to her as a research collaborator with the University of Edinburgh. And rewardingly, I have entered a whole different new world. Uh, the butterfly effect was very inspiring in how change can be contagious. However, what was really interesting for me as a psychologist and a researcher was to understand further and to explore the colors of those butterflies. Carl Jung, being the pioneer in exploring the properties of colors and its meanings in people's everyday lives, brought color therapy to the table. And in studying human behavior in a recreational way, uh, the non-conventional approach was very intriguing for me, dealing with cross-cultural families, people who don't really accept clinical treatment or have difficulties in expressing how they feel and or organizing their thoughts through words and articulation. So that approach itself was inspirational for NSPCC in developing its philosophy and therefore its main approach. What makes NSPCC stands out is that we are accessible, sustainable, grassroots, and evidence-based. Now, in order to break stereotyping through raising awareness and advocating community resiliency to achieve social equality, a more inclusive approach would be effective and long lasting. And what I mean by an inclusive approach is that NSPCC programs recognizes connectivity between policies, whether they are regional, cultural, historical, political, economical, or even religious. All these factors help build and construct what we call surrounding environmental resources. Now, these resources can either help participants or help people grow, or they may hinder people and prevent them from growing. So it's basically how to use the resource. The process itself is more important, and it's more what we focus on rather than the program or what we're delivering. And probably that's what makes NSPCC more cross-cultural sensitive and in its approach, as well as more dynamic. You see, there is no fixed or no rigid framework or mold in what we do, because we believe that growth and mental health and well-being is part of the community itself and can only be restored or advocated or fostered from community and community members, surrounding community members, and the resources. How we work. NSPCC is strongly involved in academic research. We believe that academic research, being evidence-based and grassroots, facilitates these programs, digging the real truth, knowing the real truth and what really matters to people can really help fit their needs and resolve certain problems, specific problems that have to do for cross-cultural populations only, and that can be misunderstood at times through the wider community coming from a different background. So NSPCC pursues these goals of change through committing to Canadian and non-Canadian international institutions, whether they are academic, governmental, non-governmental, profit, non-profit. We believe in global partnership, local and global partnership, and that through creating change makers. NSPCC is highly involved in its mission in accomplishing community-based goals, such as reducing inequality, empowering women and young girls through promoting gender equality, and also providing an equal chance for good health and well-being for everyone. But the engine that keeps everything running, keeps the wheel going, is the SDG 17 partnership for the goals. Collaboration has proved to be key in order to create effective and long-lasting change. The parent program. Well, parents started as an uh, exploratory research project conducted by the University of Edinburgh. Uh, Throughout my research, I was exploring child rearing experiences in Arab refugee families. The university and I decided to establish research collaborative agreements with different organizations within Canada and Germany. The YMCA of Greater Halifax and Dartmouth stood out to be one of the pioneer research collaborators, which helped creating a safe, secure place for Arab refugees to walk in, open up, and talk about their experiences without feeling excluded, judged, stigmatized, labeled. Um, it gave them that sense of control and freedom where they were allowed. And they gave themselves the permission to open up and to speak and to let out and let off so much on their chest. Although this was a non-therapeutic and a non-diagnostic research, but so much came out of it that just proved that a non-clinical approach can be more useful than applying a framework that researchers can be used to in their methodology. The significance of this study, which helped Parent become a grassroots evidence-based program, was that it responded to the label of refugee-related trauma being PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. That's at least how everybody recognizes it. It also revealed so many misunderstood aspects of trauma and resiliency and how it's conceptualized and understood within that cross-cultural population. Of course, cultural norms and values, traditions, religious aspects were involved. It also revealed or it also explored and explained and defined the prolonged impacts of migration, their journey, leaving their home country, going through encampment in transit, and then afterwards resettling in Canada and Germany. That duration, that period of time, told us a lot. It spoke so many silent psychological and social processes that were going on inside the individual, inside the self, and also being reflected among the family members. Parent had proved to be a leading pilot approach addressing cross-cultural sensitivity in a universal understanding of trauma and resiliency, and that not through being based on theory, but being grounded to the cross-cultural population itself. So it's understanding the problem and addressing and defining the problem practically from the roots and the source itself. The significance of this program also led to various practical implications. Parent came out as not really a research academic paper, but more of a benefit for academic researchers, clinicians, psychologists, social workers, counselors, all people, even volunteers and students, all people who deal with diverse or cross-cultural populations, mums and dads and children who come from a different background. And how was Parent able to achieve such success? Only through addressing a wider range of ongoing stress, whether it's from the environment itself hindering their growth and the stress within that was taken with them throughout their journey of migration. All that came together in one package, affecting this population in their strategies of coping and adaptation. That fostered and created what we call the NSPCC Parent Program. Now, I know we kept saying parent, but we never really broke it down. Parent is basically positive affective resolutions for effectively nurturing trust. Now, all these elements, and I know it might sound too much, but all these elements are key, and they stand out on their own, and they also intertwine and integrate together through creating a secure attachment bond between the parent and the child. Now, people who are under distress or trauma or anxiety or depression may find that difficult to establish, and that's where NSPCC Parent Program comes in. We help people through a 4-week program, conducting a 45 focus group session in building self-awareness, problem solving, mindfulness, finding and creating positive alternatives, and building social emotional learning. This program has been proven to be not only an effective asset for Arab refugees, but also collaborating with other organizations such as the IMWA, working with Hispanics and with other cross-cultural backgrounds. Parent proved to be an effective program addressing distress from more of a subjective kind of view rather than an objective, generalizing kind of view. And that's what made the program special. The NSPCC resources are the main pillar for change. The collaboration itself created an environment of exchanging thoughts, exchanging different values and awareness and understandings. A whole interdisciplinary approach of change happened through that collaboration. And that's what helped us evolve. Even if it's a small circle, but it still helped us take a really huge step forward. Now, starting off with a small network helped us realize the necessity to expand it and the values that we can offer and we can learn from other organizations and institutions working together in building bridges to reaching a better tomorrow. Um, NSPCC invites people to becoming a collaborative change maker. And also it invites individuals, whether you're a mom, you're a dad, or a family who's seeking help, to contact me directly through the contact details that you can see in creating or in becoming a change maker yourself, whether it's through yourself or your family or through your small community and neighborhood, and probably on a wider scale. NSPCC is all about creating that potential. Oh, yes. Becoming a change maker or a collaborative change maker with NSPCC can be done through also some of the openings that we have. As we said, we are heavily involved in research, and we love to collaborate with different academic institutions, whether in Canada or overseas globally, in creating research projects that address certain problems that have not yet been explored or neglected, overlooked, concerning cross-cultural, targeted cross-cultural populations. And also, being heavily involved in research means that we tend to speak up and present our results, and that through attending international or national congresses, such as the upcoming Congress, the CPA 83rd Annual Convention that will be held in Calgary. Throughout that research, throughout that Congress, NSPCC will be given a place through social and personal interaction by being given a booth where we can speak, raise our voice, and address our needs, and raise awareness on how to work together in fulfilling those needs and those missions. We also, being evidence-based, we also will be presenting, I personally will be presenting my research project, being the ever first qualitative research project made with Arab refugees in defining the model of transgenerational trauma. This research project, being very proud of it, this research project is the ever first qualitative research conducted with Arab refugees, approaching them in a cross-cultural, sensitive manner, being the interviewer, translator, analyst, all in one. That dual or triple role basically helped raising or helped collecting a really rich account of data, in which brought more vivid evidence to the truth and facilitated our programs in being more effective in change. In order to collaborate, please once again feel free to visit. Feel free, please, to visit nspcc.org /org.ca. You may contact us directly through the contact us button, or you could simply pop me an email. And if you're interested in sponsorship, and we have various packages that might be useful for other organizations or institutions who would like to work hand in hand in raising their voice. On the behalf of NSPCC members, we would like to thank you for the opportunity that you gave us to share our thoughts, our visions, our missions, and our values. Thank you so much for attending. We look forward to hearing from you, probably for future collaboration. Thank you, Catalyst, for the opportunity, and have a wonderful Catalyst Change Week. Great year, 2022.